1:15 p.m. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The government has decided to reduce the price of big onions by providing relief from the cess tax. Sri Lankan Prime Minister congratulated newly elected Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. A sharp increase in dengue cases in the country. Minister Mahinda Amaraweera said that diesel consignment provided by the Chinese government will be given to the farmers free of charge. China has assured Sri Lanka of its continued support to overcome prevalent challenges. Foreign news, huge Khan at the first rally since shooting. News in detail. The government has decided to reduce the price of big onions by providing relief from the cess tax. The annual need of the country is 300,000 metric tons. 86% of that need is imported. After the cess tax, there was a slight increase of the price of big onions. The Presidential Media Division says that the Committee on Food Policies has decided to reduce the cess tax for big onions. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena congratulated newly elected Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim when the outgoing Malaysian High Commissioner Tan Yang Tai paid a farewell call on him at the Temple Trees recently. The Prime Minister conveyed his congratulations to the new Malaysian leader who assumed office after the victory in the general elections on Thursday. Premier Gunawardena said he looks forward to continuously work with the new government of Malaysia to further promote the deep, long-standing bilateral ties that are built on the foundation of shared democratic values. The epidemiology unit recorded over 55,889 suspected dengue cases countrywide from January 2022 to date, while 4,633 rat fever patients had been reported during the same period. Around 25,067 suspected dengue cases and 6,916 rat fever cases were reported last year. About 41.7% of the dengue cases had been reported from the Western Province. The highest number of dengue cases were reported in August 2017. The 2017 outbreak led to extensive and regular removal of potential mosquito breeding sites and improved patient education on fever management, which resulted in a relatively low mortality rate. The spokesman for the epidemiology department said it is critical to seek medical attention in the event of rat fever and to conduct laboratory tests by day 3 of the illness. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Minister Mahinda Amaraweera said that the diesel consignment provided by the Chinese government will be given to the farmers free of charge. The ship carrying 10.6 million litres of diesel arrived in the country yesterday. Meanwhile, China has assured Sri Lanka of its continued support to overcome prevalent challenges. Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Xie Zhenghong, engaged in discussions with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. During the talks, Ambassador Zhenghong assured President Ranil Wickremesinghe of China's continued support to overcome current challenges, the Chinese embassy said on Twitter. The President and Ambassador also reviewed the progress of bilateral and multilateral negotiations on Sri Lanka's debt issue and denounced misinformation by foreign media on China. Professor of the Sri Pali campus of Colombo University, Tudor Veerasinghe, says that the media should intervene in solving people's problems rather than merely providing information. Joining in the Subharati discussion program of the SLBC, he said that it is important to control the spread of false information and news to the society. The present economy is more financial than logistical. The professor said that media make direct impact of the entire society of the country. So it is important to act responsibly to control the spread of the false information, he said. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Sri Lanka apparel manufacturing industry, despite several obstacles, has achieved an export revenue of $4.3 billion up to September this year. This was announced at the 40th annual general meeting of the Sri Lanka Apparel Exporters Association in Colombo. CEO Eskimo Fashion Knitwear Private Limited Indika Lianahevage said newly elected chairman of SLAEA said the sector aims to achieve an export value of $8 billion in 2023. He said to successfully achieve this goal, the apparel sector needs the fullest support of the government in few specific areas such as taxation, free trade agreements, labor reforms, mandatory dollar conversions, and due charges or lost recovery charges. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Over 989 people and 3,649 wild elephants and tuskers have died in the country from 2016 to 2020, according to the Annual Audit Report 2021 of the National Audit Secretariat. Around 845 civil security officers had been deployed to drive away wild elephants, and the government spent 427 million rupees as salaries and allowances for this purpose. Over 1.64 billion rupees had been spent from public funds as capital expenditure to erect electric fences to prevent wild elephants entering human settlements and cultivations during the past 10 years. About 3,300 civil security officers had been deployed to maintain the fences. During the past 5 years, 1.16 billion rupees had been spent by the government on salaries and allowances for these officers, the report added. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Please be aware on institutes, registration and accreditation when you are selecting vocational courses which leads to achieve your future career goals. Do not waste your valuable time and money. Confirm institutes, registration and accreditation by TVEC. For more information, visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skill development officers. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Huge crowds saw Imran Khan at first rally since shooting. COVID protests widen in China after Urumqi fire. And famed singer and actress Irene Cara dies aged 63. Pakistan's ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan has spoken to a huge crowd of supporters in his first public appearance since being shot at and injured 3 weeks ago. Crowds gathered for a rally in the city of Rawalpindi taking flags and signs. The former cricket star urged them to live without fear of death. One person was killed and several others injured during the attack earlier this month, which unfolded as Mr. Khan led a similar event. The former PM was injured in his right leg and underwent surgery. He has accused members of the current government of plotting the attack in Wazirabad. Authorities have rejected the accusations and released a video purporting to show a confession from a man they described as the only suspect in the shooting. At the rally in Rawalpindi, Mr. Khan's supporters erupted in cheers when he appeared after a delay of several hours. Protests against COVID restrictions in China appear to have intensified following a fire which killed 10 people in an apartment block in Urumqi. In the city of Shanghai, videos posted on social media by foreign journalists show thousands of people taking to streets to remember the victims and to protest against COVID restrictions. Hundreds were heard asking for President Xi Jinping to resign. Many people have blamed the lockdown of residential buildings for the fire. Chinese authorities have denied it was the cause. Though Urumqi authorities did issue an unusual apology late on Friday, vowing to punish anyone who had deserted their duty. At the gathering in Shanghai, some people were seen lighting candles and laying flowers for the victims. Fame and Flashdance singer Irene Cara has died at the age of 63. The American singer and actress was best known for her title track in the 1980 film Fame, as well as co-writing and singing the smash hit Flashdance. What a Feeling, for which she won an Oscar and a Grammy. She later starred in films opposite Clint Eastwood and Tatum O'Neal. Cara's publicist, who announced her death, said she died at home in Florida, but the cause is currently unknown. Born in 1959 in the Bronx, New York City, Cara was the youngest of 5 children and started her career in Spanish-language TV. Her father was Puerto Rican and her mother Cuban-American. Having recorded music as a child, both Spanish and English, she went on to appear in a number of on- and off-Broadway musicals. Back to the headlines of the world news. Huge crowds for Imran Khan at first rally since shooting. COVID protests widen in China after Urumqi fire. And famed singer and actress Irene Cara dies aged 63. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
On to development news. For the first time in the world, Sri Lanka Tea Research Institute will introduce tea wine to the global and local market early next year. Director and CEO TRI Dr. Saman Hettiarachchi told local media that they had done over 4 years of research before launching this product. He said that they have already obtained a patent for this product. He said that to ensure transparency in the EOI process, a committee was appointed with representatives from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Plantations, Sri Lanka Tea Board, TRI and other scientists. He said that Ceylon Breweries and Lanka Distillers Company are the two shortlisted companies which are already engaged in exports. And that was development news. Now, moving on to sports news. Lionel Messi produced a moment of trademark magic to help keep Argentina's World Cup hopes alive with victory in a tense encounter against Mexico. In a cauldron of noise at Lusail Stadium, Messi and Argentina knew defeat would end their hopes of reaching the last 16 after only 2 games following the stunning loss to Saudi Arabia in their opener. The tension was mounting as Mexico frustrated Messi in an attritional game, especially in the first half, littered with fouls and stoppages that never allowed Argentina to gain any momentum. Messi changed all that after 64 minutes when he took one touch to control a pass with his left foot before drilling an unerring finish past Mexico keeper Guillermo Ochoa into the bottom corner of 20 yards. The masses of Argentina supporters in a crowd of 88,966 went wild in celebration and relief as their World Cup campaign got back on track. Enzo Fernandez added a superb second with a curling shot into the top corner 3 minutes from the time, but it was Messi who made the breakthrough and the difference. Victory in a tough final Group C game against Poland will send them into knockout phase. And that ends sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Carmaker Jaguar Land Rover is reducing output at its factories in Solhel and Hellwood until the spring due to ongoing problems obtaining enough computer chips for new vehicles. The action is expected to affect the output of models such as the Jaguar F-Pace and Land Rover Discovery Sport. The move is understood to be temporary, as first reported in The Guardian. In the meantime, JLR will focus on more profitable models such as the Range Rover. Output of these cars has been ramped up in recent months. Jaguar Land Rover's factory in Nitra, Slovakia is not affected. Modern cars are heavily reliant on computer chips to control a variety of onboard systems, ranging from anti-lock braking and emissions control to satellite navigation and in-car entertainment. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
On to economic news, cruise ship Menshif 5 with 2,030 passengers, a majority of them Europeans and 945 crew members, will make it a maiden call on Sri Lanka on next Tuesday. The ship will call at Hambantota Port on November 30th, creating history as the first large passenger ship to call and stay overnight at the HIP port. Due to the ship being too large to berth in Colombo Port Passenger Terminal, it will anchor at the East Container Terminal, making it the first cruise ship to be anchored there. This is the second back-to-back passenger cruise ship to call over on Sri Lanka after Norwegian ship Viking Mouse carrying 700 tourists and 450 crew members arrived at the Colombo port last week. marking herself as the first cruise ship to call on Sri Lanka post-COVID. And that was economic news, and now on to the weather report. The Met Department says that several spells of light showers will occur in the northern province. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in Uva, eastern and southern provinces during the afternoon or night. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in the Galle and Matra district during the morning. And that was the weather report. And before we conclude the news broadcast, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The government has decided to reduce the price of big onions by providing relief from the cess tax. Sri Lankan Prime Minister congratulated newly elected Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. A sharp increase in dengue cases in the country. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that the diesel consignment provided by the Chinese government will be given to the farmers free of charge. China has assured Sri Lanka of its continued support to overcome prevalent challenges. And foreign news, huge crowds saw Imran Khan at first rally since shooting. And with that, we end this news broadcast from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.